Welcome back. It's time for Legacy Point 2. Make the right connections. First of all, connect with God from the beginning, right now. From now till the day of the retreat, pray every day for your son. Pray for your son to be receptive to the words you're going to speak to him on the retreat. Pray for God to give you the right words. In fact, have other people praying for you. If you've got friends that are godly friends, ask them to be praying for you to get ready for this retreat.
Fantastic. One of the neat things that happens in this connection is that by being away with other men and with your son, you're in an environment that lets you be more receptive to what God is doing. So watch for it, pray for it, and expect God to do big things. Let Him show up in this retreat.
Secondly, start looking now at this handout called Anticipating Conversations with Your Son. This is the key content of the retreat.
Yes. With this, let's tell you a little bit about what you can expect to happen when each of these content points, be courageous, be honorable, and be faithful to the end, will be presented. Be courageous will be presented on Friday night around the campfire. It's done with a story tell of David and Goliath, and it's best done if one of you dads do it, or you might find someone else who's just a good storyteller that is going to make the Bible come alive. But it's not just the presentation, it's the conversation that happens afterwards, because immediately after that, then dads take a few minutes aside with their son and talk about the giants that they faced, if not in 5th, 6th grade, maybe sometime soon thereafter that they remember, and listen to their son talk about a giant that they're facing. Now we're connecting with each other around that important topic.
The second content piece is be honorable. And for that, there will be a story tell that will talk about the life of Joseph. Sold into slavery because his brothers were jealous, put into jail because he refused to give in to temptation, but instead chose to be a man of honor. That will be the biblical content that will be talked about and how God raised him up because he was honorable and because he was true to God. And then there will be this conversation that comes out of the story of Potiphar's wife who tried to seduce Joseph. From that will come this conversation about sex. And to do that, we'll have a panel discussion of 3 men, and they will yield questions they'll field questions rather, from the dads and the sons who are gathered around the room. And dads will probably be the ones that start to write the questions first because the sons are a little uncomfortable. Dads, you can just start letting rip and start writing questions that you'd like for your son to hear the answers to. And then initially the panel will start answering those questions, and then after a little while, we let dads start to talk and give answers too, because dads are just chomping at the bit by that time. They want to have a say in what their son hears about these issues of honoring women and respecting them.
One of the most exciting pieces of this for me has always been when we had a teenager who was a godly teenager, and one that the kids would look up to, and would talk about dating practices, and particularly how he stood up to be honorable and chose to remain pure in the face of all the struggle, and because it's so countercultural.
So finding a young man who says, I'm going to wait for sex until I'm married.
Yeah.
That's a really important thing to have on the panel.
Yes. That experience is Saturday morning. And after you finished, you're ready for a football game together.
Yeah, the boys' eyes start glazing over because dads want to say more than the boys' hearts can absorb in one setting.
But the conversation is opened.
And the boys learn not just facts, but they learn the spirit of what it means to honor women.
Yes.
Okay.
And in the afternoon, then we go to what it means to be faithful. And this is a very moving experience when we learn about trust. And that's done by a father-son trust walk. And we're talking about Jesus and how we can trust Him as our Savior, and how He will never leave us or forsake us or abandon us. He's the voice that we can listen to. So that experience is done in a very active way, fathers to son. At the conclusion of that is when the baton is passed. You've connected with God.
And now it's time for you to focus on connecting with your son. That's the second connection you want to make on this retreat. It's just a great opportunity to have fun together, to laugh with other guys, and then also that blessing experience, which is then so special, especially with the baton passing, because it's a part of that process is when you have drawn away from your son and you've been calling to him very, very quietly. You'll see the description for that on the Anticipating Conversations page, that third piece. So you'll see how you're at a distance from your son, and then you allow him to get closer. And then finally you reach out and you have him reach out and grasp hold. And he doesn't know because he's blindfolded. He doesn't know what he's reaching out for. And he gets this baton that he's never seen. And then afterward you talk about it according to the directions on your page. That can be really, really powerful. Be praying about what you're going to say and for your son to be ready for it.
This connection point with your son is seen by all your congregation. If you choose on that Sunday following the retreat to have the fathers and the sons together to celebrate what happened in their retreat and spend 4 or 5 minutes describing that experience, and then watching the fathers bless their sons in front of the entire congregation as they pass the baton to them again and bless them to be a man of God, to be courageous, to be honorable, to be faithful to the end.
I love how we have the fathers and sons lift their hands up and do that together like
And
that.
they hold it like that.
And
Yes.
as they say, we will be men of God. We will be courageous. We'll be honorable. We'll be faithful to the end. That's a powerful thing. The congregation loves that piece.
The final connection is with other fathers and sons. Dads, you need one another. You need your sons to see how you relate to other Christian men. And together, as Christian men, you need a unified voice as to what it means to be a man of God and to invite your sons into that fellowship.
And that works all throughout the retreat, from the games to the storytell as they're listening together, and especially at that point in the panel discussion when the dads are all sharing from their heart about what it means to be an honorable man of God.
Yes. So let's talk about it.
Let's go back to the first storytell for your conversation piece now. Let's talk with each other in groups of 3 or 4 about what giant you might have encountered when you were a 5th grader, 6th grader, or as soon thereafter in your life. What giant did you encounter, and how did you solve that giant problem? Was God a part of it? Talk about that with each other now, and we'll see you back here in a few minutes.